This is Lansdowne Roar, the voice of the fans. Coming up, Robbie Keane is back in management. The Republic of Ireland legend has taken his third job as a full-time manager, and that's what we're going to be talking about today on Lansdowne Roar. Hello and welcome to another edition of Lansdowne Roar. David Dunn, joined by Martin Prendergast. Before we get started, as always, if you haven't already, do please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button below, and you can also head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account. He's not here. He's skiing in Aspen somewhere, but give Connor an follow over at RepTrack if you want to find out what's going on with the current and the future boys and girls in green. And if you want a bit of opinion, head over to lansdowneroar.ie, lansdowneroar.ie, where you can also get an audio version of this podcast. And of course, wherever you get your podcast from as well. Martin, hello. A little bit of breaking news broke the other day. Robbie Keane, he is back in management. But before that, how are you?
I'm very well, Dave. Thanks very much. I really enjoyed Sunday's show. First of all, do catch that and on the catch up of that. You know, the recordings of and the YouTube channel. I enjoyed that. Like a bit of a fallout from the Liverpool Man United game. We are an Irish football fan podcast, of course, Dave. I thought I'll go for this one first of all. I didn't tell you that I was going to do this, but
No,
you know, it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. But you know, we like to cover all sorts of things going on in football, and even you know, we're covering this today, aren't we? So, you know, this breaking news that Robbie Keane's back in football management.
Yeah, some people might, it's an probably Ireland podcast. Well, yeah, but people in Ireland will be watching Liverpool and Man United. So get over it. We love our fans, by the way. Yes, and as Martin mentioned, over on the YouTube archive, if you want to catch up with a few bits and pieces we have on over there, you've got the Lansdowne Legends Part 1 and Part 2, where Martin and myself spoke to Clint Morrison, Alan Kelly, and Ian Hart. That is a YouTube exclusive. You can only get it over on YouTube. It was a fantastic event indeed. It was recorded on the 15th of November of last year. You want to find out a bit more about Saipan, Untold Stories about Ireland's World Cup qualification campaign in 2002. Well, a bit of part 1, but mostly part 2 is when you're going to get that Saipan stuff from. So do give it a cheeky listen and tell us what you think, as your comments are very important. Unless it's about Man United, Liverpool, then they're not important. Right, we're going to get into it. So yes, the reason why we're here today, Robbie Keane, he is back in manager at Ferencvaros. I think I've said that correctly. So they are Hungarian. They are Hungarian's most successful side. Here is a statement from the club. We announced the successor to Dutchman Pascal Janssen to lead our 35-time champion and 24-time cup winner team. As the 146-time national team player of the Republic of Ireland, Robbie Keane has signed on Monday. The new coach arrived in Budapest on Sunday evening and will leave on Tuesday to join our team at the training camp in Spain. Apparently, Robbie Keane was linked with the job before last summer after his stint in Israel ended abruptly. Frank Janssen, of course, was Paul Janssen, not Frank Janssen, was Liverpool boss Arne Slot's assistant at AZ Alkmaar, and he is off to New York City in the MLS. This is Robbie Keane's third management job. His first one was at ATK FC as a player manager in India in 2018, and of course Maccabi Tel Aviv. Unless you've been living under a rock somewhere, where he won the league and cup double. So, a couple of notes there, Martin. Obviously, a lot of controversy about Israel. We'll get to that, I'm sure. Robbie Keane is somehow, as a lot of people in Irish football tend to be, and it's strange, but it's Irish football, is a very polarizing figure. You know, all-time goal scorer, all-time caps holder, represented his country with distinction. But he is, as I said, back in management now. First of all, no mention of the contract length. Reading here in the Independent, apparently he's going to be under pressure from the off. They are currently second in the Hungarian top flight, and they're doing okay. They should be okay for a playoff place in the Europa League or a place in the knockout stages. But no mention of the contract length. Do you think that's coincidence, or do you think that's on purpose? Do you think he's maybe got, I don't know, contract maybe till the end of the season? What do you think they've done that?
I don't know. We've searched and searched for that information, didn't we, last night when we seen the news, and we wanted to find out what was happening, but yeah, no mention of it. It's not an interim job though. Like it's a full-time job, of course, and I think he will be under huge pressure going in there to perform and get good results because they're a top side ultimately, and they're playing in Europa League, doing all right in that. They're under pressure. They've got 2 games to play, but I think this winter break is going to help him. Perfect time, obviously, as we always say, don't we? That he's going to go in there to this winter camp into Spain, work with the players. Interesting as well. Bring Rory Delap in with him as assistant. So that's another Irish interest, of course. And ultimately, I think I'm going to wish him all the best. To be honest, I mean, look, it's a very divisive subject, Robbie Keane's kind of management career because of the Tel Aviv situation, but he has proved, just focusing on the football aside. He's focused, he's proven that he can do the job. He can get results. He can win trophies, and we can look at Damien Duff doing that. Sadly, there's a big lack of probably top Irish coaches, managers out there, and Robbie Keane's kind of thrown his hat into the ring now, giving it a go, proving that he can do it. In the past, it's a big test as well in Europe. I think it does show that Robbie's done a fantastic job. With his own kind of personality and his profile, that he's so respected in Europe. I know he's on the UEFA gig and he's at one of the ambassadors and things at Euros and World Cups and things like that, and all the qualification draws that go on as well. But he is highly respected. We can't deny that. And ultimately, I think I wish him all the best because football's a strange thing. I know the politics is all involved in it, but Robbie Keane goes away there and does really, really well and gets it on a CV that he's won a league and a cup again, and he can manage in Europe. He's going to have a lot of good facilities to work with there, some good players. I'd be interested to see who he brings in as well.
Here's the ground here. It's a smashing ground, isn't it? You go past on the way to onto the airport when I was in Budapest, the Groupama Arena there in Budapest. Thank you, James Agnew, for the photographs.
One of our writers, but it's a big job. Like it's a big testing job. This is going to require a lot of work from him now. It's not like Rooney just taking that Plymouth job where in your heart of heart that it's not going to work out. This is Robbie actually wanting to prove that he can cut it at the top level, and he has proven that in the past, winning in Israel. Right, he has proven that. The India thing's nonsense, isn't it? To be honest, it's a Mickey Mouse league. Who gives a shite? And maybe one day he'll go to Glasgow and manage Celtic if he wants to manage in another Mickey Mouse league. But
no, him probably, well, the way he's going at the moment, he probably manage Rangers.
But no, but overall, I think it's a big test for him, and I admire the ambition, and I think he. Well, I've said in one of the previous shows as well. I think this is he needs to really kind of endear himself to the Irish public again. Whether that's ever going to fully happen, I don't know. But you're talking about a potential Irish manager down the line. You are in 10 years' time. If he has had a really good management career where he's won trophies in Europe and he's actually come back from there after winning, and it's on his CV, and he goes into England and he does well. I mean, it's well known that he's looking at English managers' jobs as well. But if he comes back 5-6 years, he's definitely going to be in line for them top management jobs. But also then he'll be a proven winner ultimately.
But, I mean, he did well in Israel. If you cut through all the noise, it's kind of funny. Like there's a bit of a backlash on Twitter. Look, I don't offend anybody, and that's a joke, by the way, about the Rangers thing. I don't know, getting anyway. But there's been hell of a backlash, obviously, but it's actually there's this feeling that that's it, Robbie Keane now, he can never manage in Ireland, he'll never get the manager's job, just solely because he went to Israel. I think that's not true. That's a nonsense. I think that's a lot of people that like to when they have an opinion on something, they expect the whole world to side with them. And I think that's a newer generational thing that I've seen on social media. I have this opinion. All my other friends here, these couple of hundred people here have this opinion. So that's it. I'm right. You're wrong. And I don't think that would, as you say, if he goes to Hungary, he does well. He's under pressure. They're going to demand success because Hungary is a completely different animal to Ireland in terms of they have fantastic facilities. They throw money into it. I think one of the clubs there is owned by the current president, Orban. I think that's his name, of Hungary. And, there's a big thing in sport. A lot of it goes back to the old communist days, doesn't it? Like, it's that mentality, the nation behind the team. And, we have to excel in sports. We have to excel in arts and culture. We have to be the best at everything. So he's going into a very competitive environment. I know people say it's only Hungarian football, but it's a very serious environment over there. So it's a big test for him. But if he does well there, and then as I said, I don't know why he's only got they haven't mentioned the contract deal. I'm guessing, and it's a guess, by the way, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but Martin, you're a witness. We've searched all over the web, and nobody has reported the length of contract. So I'm presuming, and I could be wrong, that it's an end of season deal because he's joined mid-season. Maybe see how he gets on and give him an extension at the end. A couple of years over there, if he does well, wins a few trophies, does well in Europe, because that's what he wants, then yeah, England could come calling, and then if he does well there, I reckon then he could be in line at some stage if he wanted to be the Ireland manager. I don't think the Israel thing. I think it will help. It will go away. I think Claudine, his wife, obviously has been very vociferous on social media, defending him. I think, and if you're watching Claudine, and I know you are, my advice would be just don't respond. You're just adding more fuel to the fire. Because of it's like picking a wound. Just leave it. Just leave it alone and let him. Now he's in Hungary. Let the football do the talking and just forget about it.
Yeah, look, I think this is actually getting a lot more traction, this disappointment, in a sense, because of obviously the Tel Aviv thing, of course, is always going to be there for a while, and also, though, I think I've got a lot of admiration for Claudine coming out, letting everyone know about kind of her experiences of, the family are being targeted, basically, on the back of a sporting situation,
Yeah.
and everyone's going to have views on that, but it's wrong when a young family and a mother of boys and and Robbie has been away as well. There was definitely that side of it, which I think fair play, standing up for that. And I'm sure Robbie can fight his own battles, of course, because you've seen all sorts of nonsense in response to this appointment, even. And like I agree with you, Dave. Like there seems to be a lot of shouty people, obviously, on social media who are just going at it as, you're never going to forget it. It's like, we know what the past is. We know the.
Do you know the funny thing is? Sorry to cut you off there. The funny thing is, there you have all these lads and they're going on. Oh, he's taking. He took the Israeli money. Blah 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 blah. Okay, and there's an argument there. I'm not suppressing that argument. And you're giving out about this, that, and the other. You're on X. You're on Twitter. Who owns Twitter? Yeah. Elon Musk. And you're on his platform. Bit hypocritical. Just saying.
I mean, that's just the way of social media world today. And let's just remember as well, like Irish history, Irish football history especially, is very, very strange. There's lots of we often talk about the Paul Rowan book, The Team that Jack Built, which is great because, and I'm not kind of comparing the Robbie Keane, Tel Aviv, Israel situation going on there with anything else in the. Obviously, people being killed in a war or whatever is outrageous. We all have that viewpoint, of course, and we all want peace. But there are people in Irish football who have divided opinion in the past. Roy Keane's been one of them, obviously, Saipan. We know that, but he came back and played for Ireland again. No one would have said that at the immediate time afterwards. Like we love John Giles, but John Giles kind of half went on strike, not playing for Ireland back in the day. There's been lots and lots of strange things that have happened in Irish football that you think, God, no way will that happen again, or that person should never be. Yeah, exactly. No one's ever. No, I wouldn't rule out anything in football. It's the most crazy environment ever. And that's why it's so brilliant for us to cover it. And ultimately, I think going back to the sporting point of it, Robbie, I'd love him to go and be successful as a coach and manager because we have such a shortfall of them. And give back to football. I mean, look, it's not about the money as well. Like it's a short career. Like ultimately in football, playing wise, yeah, he could retire and never have to work again. We know that, but give something back. Like have another career. Like he doesn't just have to go into the shadows and he did this and this and this. Be a pundit like Roy Keane. Do something. And try and be successful, and fair play, give it a crack at management. He's proven it in the past, and I hope he does well. And I think, I hope the coverage of it is very fair as well. And let's not forget, it is high profile. It's going to be Europa League football. You've got, anytime Hungary are playing now, he's a big profile character, Robbie Keane, whatever way you look about it. I mean, it's going to help lift them as a footballing nation as well, because we'll be keeping an eye on it now, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. Look, I wish him well, but obviously Robbie has made some poor choices. I believe, anyway, from a PR point of view. As you say, like, Irish football is very polarizing. Shouldn't be, but they come back. Roy Keane, as you said, came back. He split. I remember in Ireland, he split the country. Yeah. He completely split the country. People fell out about it. I think the best mates fell out about it, over it. I remember around my granddad over it. Like, that ran deep. And I know I'm not comparing walking out in your country as opposed to, the war. Get that smile off your face. The war in Israel and all that. I'm not trying to put those two together. They're not even in the same league. But what I mean is the feeling in this country, in Ireland, was very deep. And he came back. And then, of course, the other side of the divide, Mick, he came back because it got very poisonous. He was booed out of the building when they lost to Switzerland in his last game in his first stint. So these things can happen, but he has made some poor decisions. We cannot run away from that. The whole thing with the contract, the FAI, I thought was a massive own goal. So unnecessary as well. I don't care. And listen, I don't care who took what or who was given what. If somebody jumped off a cliff, would you follow? No. On that one, he should have turned around and said, I'm not happy about this, because it was a previous, and don't forget, it was the previous guy in charge. John Delaney gave him that contract. And it was the new FAI that asked him to tear up that contract with goodwill. So it wasn't like John Delaney going back with his cap in hand. Sorry, Robbie. We don't. It was a new era, and it was very publicised what was going on at the time and the financial situation the FAI were in. So he was wrong to do that, and I don't care what anyone says, and I know they're listening, but that was wrong. And the decision to go to Israel was poor, because if you care about your reputation, and clearly you do, that wasn't the brightest thing to do. And to think, oh, well, I didn't expect that backlash. Yet again, I'd be asking, who is your PR team? But in saying all of that, I do wish him well. I do hope he does well. And you know what? If he becomes a great manager and then comes back to Ireland to manage Ireland, yeah, grand. And I think a lot of that goes away. And people, as you touched on, Martin, about John Giles. John Giles was almost despised in Ireland at one stage. He was... He was the money man. Oh, look at him. He's too good for us. And then, he's revered, and then they love him now. And rightfully so. He is a legend. Johnny Giles, great player and a very good manager as well. Probably could have done a lot.
But that's the thing with Irish football and his characters in it. Robbie, like, he's taken this opportunity now. But, like you said there, you've had interesting characters like, David O'Leary as well, for example, didn't play for Ireland for a number of years. Jack just set him aside, but ultimately proved... weighed it out, got in there, scored an iconic penalty in 1990, of course. So, these things do change around. The perception changes as well. I know we will never know the full background history. I mean, look, we know Champagne Football was a fantastic book, but there's another book to be written again on Irish football, isn't there? Even the last 4 or 5 years. It's such an intriguing kind of story again. That's why we speak so much about it. And I'm sure there has been definitely an angle of the press coverage of things showing, Stephen Kenny in a positive light or Robbie in a negative light. We know that happens. I mean, that's something that obviously Claudine has commented about with on her Twitter kind of comments and things like that, and her posts. Some things are going on in the background there. And sadly, we don't hear enough from Robbie, I would say. Big name in Irish football. Whether he just thinks, well, I don't have to why do I have to justify anything? I think, that's going to be interesting when he does the unveiling as the manager here, or if Irish press cover these upcoming games, Europa League games and things. There is an interest in Robbie. We can't get away from that. But are they going to ask him them questions? Are they going to be afforded the opportunity to ask him some awkward questions and how he will handle that? I know he's done some stuff in the past with Rio in the podcast. And I think the other thing on the background of this is obviously going to Hungary. Ireland are playing them now in September and November. That's going to be brilliant. That's a lovely little kind of background, isn't it, of that's happening as well. So I think that's a nice little narrative for us to kind of look into it. And, is Robbie secretly on the payroll of the FAI? Keep an eye on the close ground there behind enemy lines.
Don't get that started. Yeah, look, I mean, as I said, best luck to him. I hope it works out well. I just hope, because Claudine as well seems to be very distressed about it, and I get it and I understand it, but like just hope it all just simmers down now a little bit. I think this has gone like it's tiresome now.
Yeah,
Must be
focus on the
exhausting.
football as well.
Focus on the football now. Okay, went to Israel, massive misstep in terms of reputational damage. But it's done now. He's finished over there. Hopefully this works out for him, and yeah, and then hopefully I'd have him back as an Ireland manager if the football does the business. To be honest, I know there's probably I can see some of the comments coming my way, but yeah, look, best of luck to them, and I really hope it does work out. Right, we're going to leave it there, Martin. Thank you very much for that. Just a quick one today. That's what we do here. Bit of breaking news, and we'll get the microphones out. As always, folks, if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, just hit the subscribe button if you haven't done already. Also, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, because it really does help the algorithm. Other ways to support the channel: you can buy some coffee. That is in the link below. No donation too small, or certainly too big, with the emphasis on the latter part there. Also, if you wouldn't mind, head over to Lansdowne Legends. That is on the YouTube channel only. Lansdowne Legends Part 1 and Part 2, where Martin and I spoke to Clinton Morrison, Anna Kelly, and Ian Hart there. It was a fantastic night had by all, and you can find out more about Saipan and polarising opinions in Irish football over there. Right, I'm David Dunn. He's Martin Prendergast. This is Lansdowne Roar, and we are out here. See you later.